Yo guys, welcome back to another video. I know I haven't done one in a long time, but I'm gonna, it's the summer now. I'm gonna be back on and making lots of videos. Now, all I ask is that you just, support and I need ideas for videos and ask me questions and topics I can make for videos that I can put out for you guys, which will help you. So if you could just comment or just message me, whatever you want. But this was a question that was asked, and somebody asked me, what to focus your time on as a beginner trader and what you shouldn't be focusing on. Now, I've done a little roadmap which I'm going to show you, which I think is how you should follow it. And it's a pretty simple roadmap, but I'm going to go into detail of each point. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is the roadmap I'm talking about. Now I'm going to go through it one by one because it's not really clear. And, obviously you can skim read it, but I want to explain what I mean by this. Now, the first of all, you have to learn the fundamentals and the basics of the market. So what I mean by that is learning how the markets move, the theories and the concepts behind them. Now, the fundamentals and basics is different because there are many concepts out there. You've got this SMC thing, you've got ICT, you've got support resistance, this is that. Now, there are some concepts and some teachers, gurus, and some people who teach that stuff, some stuff, which the basics are fine, but sometimes it's not really realistic. Like and I'll make another video of that, but they aim and they talk about crazy returns and unrealistic stuff. And as a new trader, when you're coming into this game with no knowledge, it's kind of hard, and a lot of people get lost in that. And I've been fallen victim to that, where you learn from someone who's not even a trader and is just complete selling BS, and what they teach and sell is similar to someone who can be legit. So it's very hard to tell as a beginner what's right, what's wrong, and you can get lost very easily, especially because a lot of the big guys are the ones who are just selling BS. Now, the way I view fundamentals and basics is, I believe that many concepts and theories work in the markets, in terms of ICT works, support and resistance works, divergence works, this, that. I know people who are profitable doing support and resistance, drawing lines, and there was like a phase, or there still is, where people used to look at that and laugh at people like that, but yeah, they're doing better than most of these people. So you need to get out of that mindset of thinking there is only one way, because I'm telling you now, there is not. And if you still don't believe me, you're just going to learn the hard way, because you're going to go into that and have that attitude of thinking, yeah, there's only one way to the market, or there is thousands of ways. And it's because the edge is in the trader. The profitability, everything you want comes from you. It doesn't come from your system and what you do and how you do it. Some, yes, in terms of aiming for realistic returns and stuff, because like I said, I know people who are doing support and resistance or doing ICT, and they're being profitable, and one's more profitable than the other. And I can't say, oh, the guy who's doing support and resistance, it doesn't work for you, because you just can't say that. There's no one way of trading, and the edge and your everything you want in trading is because of you. And that's a truth that a lot of people need to learn early, to from the get-go understand that everything you want comes from you. When I mean you, I'm talking about your psychology, your effort, and what you do, not your system. Because a lot of people, they get lost in thinking, I need to learn the perfect system, I'm going to build the amazing system. And you can have an amazing system, but you can't execute it. And then there's people with the most easiest, simple, average systems, and they're making it work, they're making a killing. Just go watch the interviews of people who are getting these payouts. All these interviews, like proper interviews, not these like weird ones, like proper stuff from proper prop firms, and look at the way they trade. It's the most simple stuff, and they're not all doing the same thing, they're all doing different things, yet people are still getting results. So that should easily already go to your head to think like, okay, why so many people are getting results and so many people are doing different things? So if everyone's doing something different and yet all of them are getting results, then it must be them, it's not their system. Because there are people who will get results and teach their system, and people still can't do as well as them. Why is that? Think to yourself, why is that? Why can't I can't copy this guy's system? It's because each person's system works for them. And I'm going to to develop now, but these are things you need to know as a beginner trader. That one, your system is not what's going to make you profit, it's you. Two, there are many ways to become profitable and take money out of the markets, and you just got to find one way. I'm not saying learn ICT, I'm telling you, learn whatever you learn and whatever feels comfortable for you, and then you move on to the next stage. Because a lot of people think, they'll learn support and resistance and they'll think, no, this is rubbish, this don't work for me. I need to go learn something else now, learn a different concept because this concept's better. No concept is better than another. Yes, maybe the way people teach it, like ICT seems to be very accurate, the algorithm, this, and that. But yet, there's so many people who are ICT wizards and know everything about ICT and can show everything about ICT, but yet they can't be profitable. They can't do that in the markets. And then there's people who learn the most simple support and resistance strategy on YouTube and make a killing. That right there is proof that it's not the system, it's not the concept, it's the trader. So again, what I'm saying to you is do your own research and find someone, a good teacher. When you look for a teacher, because the question also said what to not avoid. When you look for a teacher to teach you, look for the history. Look at if they've had payouts, real payouts. Look at if they've had interviews, proper interviews. What have they done? If it's just a guy flexing Lamborghinis, flexing trades, but he's got no payouts, he can't show a withdrawal. It's like, you don't want to learn from people like that. Nowadays it's easy to just fake stuff. So you need to learn from someone who's established, because there are a lot of people out there that can easily suck you in. You'll see a guy, you'll be like, oh, I can relate to him, and you'll go learn from him. But what some people teach is, absurd. Like, I don't want to name names or say anything, but you need to be careful. And it's kind of hard to say off the bat. And it is something you learn from experience. But at the same time, there are a lot of very good teachers. The best teacher I'd recommend is Omo. But then that's for ICT concepts. If you are comfortable with something else, then something else might work. And then again, you don't even have to pay people. There's free stuff online. You can legit learn a lot of the stuff. A lot of ICT stuff is free on YouTube. There's a lot of support and resistance stuff on YouTube. Just learn whatever feels comfortable for you. Don't fit into that trend thinking, oh, everyone's learning ICT, I need to learn ICT, because you don't. Like, you can learn anything that you feel comfortable with and make that work. So I hope that made sense, that there is no one concept, and then it's not the system that makes you. But yeah, so once you get through fundamentals and the basics, and you understand a bit about more your concept and the patterns and how to spot them, and the basics of the market, how it moves, there's news, this and that, then you move on to the second stage, to be able to apply and spot the patterns in the markets. So what I mean by that is, from whatever concept you learn, what you learn, the technical stuff you learn, you need to be able to spot that one in the market. So if you pull up a chart, you should be able to say, okay, here, this is an order block, this is blah, this is that. And two, be able to spot patterns. Now, I'll get into the patterns and repetition, what I mean in a minute. But again, whatever you learn, if it's support and resistance, you need to learn how to draw support and resistance lines, how to spot them, how to this, that, how to find breakouts. Once you can do that, and again, let me just stop for a minute. This could take months, weeks, and this could take months, weeks. There's no time limit. Don't try to rush this. Don't try to rush this. If you try to rush this, you're just gonna, you might skip steps, this, that. It's just not gonna end well. Take your time on everything. It's just a must. Please do not rush anything. Anyway, back to this. So once you're able to understand the concept you're learning from, and be able to pull up a chart with no help, and be able to say, this is this, this is that, this is that, and it's actually that, because I feel like a lot of people get into a problem where they'll say this is an order block, but it's not really an order block. So for that, obviously, yes, it takes practice, and you have to study more and just keep practicing. That's why I'm saying it takes months. So once you can spot patterns in the market and find repetition, then use that knowledge to create a system. And what I was saying about repetition is, find something repeatable. I always get this question of, how do I find a system? I've learned everything I need to. I know all the concepts. I know all this arrays, order blocks. I know this, that. I know support and resistance line. But how do I make a system? So what I tell people is, take everything you learn, go on the market, and find repeatable patterns. I'll give you a repeatable pattern that a lot of ICT people know, and it's just pretty textbook. When a candle goes into an order block, you want to see it reject away from the order block if it works, and then you want to see price reject away and continue rejecting away. That right there is a repeatable pattern that we as ICT traders know and spot. And obviously, again, not every order block is going to work, but that is a repeatable pattern. An order block, price going into it, and repeat and moving away. And I'm going to jump on the charts just so I can show you guys, just so it can make more. Okay, so I'm now on the chart, and remember what I said, find repeatable patterns that happen again and again and again, and then you can make a system out of that. So the example I was saying is, let's just say this is an order block. Let me just say price here. Let's say the order block was here. Okay, you want price to go into it and reject away, don't you? If the order block works, this is a pattern itself that happens again and again and again on every time frame. So now, if you see this happening on the 1 hour, that itself, you build a trade idea around this. So now you've seen that price goes into an order block and rejects away. Now you need to find other niches. So when do I want to see it? Do I want to see this happen in London session or New York session, or both? What time frame do I want to use to spot this out? When it comes up into the order block, do I want to go into the lower time frame to look for entry? I can't really go into crazy detail because there's so much stuff. But all I'm saying, I hope you understand, is find a repeatable pattern. Another repeatable pattern is it'll sweep liquidity. Let me show you another repeatable pattern. This one is one that everyone should know. Let's say there is liquidity. Price sweeps it and goes down. This is a pattern that happens again and again and again, isn't it? When there's liquidity, it gets swept and it goes down. That is another repeatable pattern that happens again and again and again on every time frame. So now that you've got a repeatable pattern, and the repeatable pattern, yes, you may know lots of repeatable patterns, but it has to be one that is comfortable with you. If you're comfortable with looking out for liquidity sweeps, when I was saying be able to apply and spot patterns in the markets, what I mean by that is when you put up a chart, you should be able to say, oh, look, liquidity got swept, liquidity got swept. And you should be able to show me here, it's happening. And that should be your repeatable pattern. Same thing for support and resistance. Let's say you're a breakout trader, it breaks out, you wanted to see that, boom, that is a repeatable pattern. And then you want it to retest and then go higher. So these are examples of repeatable patterns that happen again and again in the market. So enough about me going on about repeatable patterns. What I want you to do is, once you found one, is to take this and then build around it, add stuff to it. So what I mean by that is, what I was saying is, what session do you want to see this liquidity sweep happen? Do you want it to see happen in London session or New York session? That way you pick what time frame you're going to use. Then pick what pair you're going to use. Now, a big thing what to avoid is looking at so many pairs. I know a lot of beginners who do this. Please stick to 2 pairs max. That's all I'm saying. I can't stress enough how important it is to just have 2, even 1. You just need 1 pair. Please don't go and use many pairs. But I don't want to drift away. Once you find your repeatable pattern and know, okay, I want it to see in London session, then now you need to start going into London sessions and seeing if you can spot your repeatable pattern and see if you can start building trade ideas around it and start entering trades. So I hope that makes sense. That's the next phase, basically, to kind of find a system. And obviously, if you need more help in that, again, you can always message me. I'm always happy to help. But again, please only 1 pair, because the way I see it is, look, let me bring a calendar. There is like 20 trading days in a month. Okay, now a repeatable pattern of a liquidity sweep, how many times in a month is that going to happen? Usually that happens like every day, really, on every time frame. Something like that has to happen. All right, and I'm not saying it's going to show up every day for you, but this is why having a repeatable pattern as your strategy is very important, because it's something that repeats again and again and again, and you just need to catch it 4 or 5 times a month, and that's it. If you go for 1 to 2s and you win 3 of them, that's 6%. I'm not saying you're going to do 6% in a month, because that's a lot, that's amazing, but that's what I'm saying. 1 pair should give you enough opportunities. If you're not seeing your system, your strategy play out on that pair, at least 4 or 5 times a month, then look, don't switch pairs and think, oh, I need a new pair. Maybe you're asking for too much to happen. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people think like, oh, I want to see this, I want to see a break of structure, then I want to see a gap being made, then I want to see price go into the gap, then I want to see another structure break, and then I want to see price come up again, and then on the 5 minute a tiny one, and then I'll enter here, and then boom. Like, you're asking for too much to happen. You just want a simple, okay, break a block, goes back in, I'll enter here, and then boom. And if I was wrong, I was wrong. You want something simple and that's repeatable, because the more stuff you want to happen, the less likely it is going to happen. Because yes, the markets do repeat themselves, but repeating such a specific system and wanting price to do such specific things, the probability of that happening again and again is very unlikely. Like, the likelihood of a white car passing your car is very high. I mean, a white car passing your house is very high. A white car passes, but the probability of having a white car pass your house that has red interior with the blue wheels, yellow brake calipers is very, very rare, isn't it? So that's what I mean. Make it simple. You just want your system to be like a white car, that it just happens again and again and again. It's easy to spot. It's there, I can enter. Because the more you ask for and the more you add onto your system, it becomes too much of a headache for it to just happen and to align. And that way, I've spoken to people, they end up with having only 2 setups a month, and they're like, oh, I need more trades, and then I always ask them, let me see your plan. It's because they've got too much written down. So yeah, now I hope that made sense. And then the third point is to build, what I was talking about, build one system, stick to it and test it. And I put one there because one is important. When I mean build one system, stick to it and test it, you need to build one, okay? Because what I mean by that is a lot of people build one and a month later they've got a new one. You need to, you can't judge a system's performance. I'm not going to get into performance and stuff crazy now, but you can't judge a system's performance over 1 month. A professional trader, anyone will tell you 1 month of data is nothing. You need at least 6 months or a year max, and like 30 to 50 trades, proper trades with your system before you can actually say, oh, this doesn't work, this does work. Because a big problem, and what you need to avoid is, and I know it's hard because you just want to win and you just feel like, oh, I made this system, your ego, because you make the system, so your ego's like, I want it to work, I want it to win, so I can prove myself that I built this amazing system, I can win in the markets. So when you start losing, you're like, nah, why? I'm doing something wrong, let me change it, I want to win. And people change it after 5-6 trades. You can't do that. You need to let your system play out over 20 to 50 trades, even more than 20. And the old saying, people are like, oh, before you go to live, you always need to demo for 6 months. That is true. You need to demo and test out your system, because people don't test it out, or people do test it out, but they mess about with it. It's not really, they'll take 2 trades amazing, and then they'll take 2 losses, and then they'll start playing about, doing weird stuff. If you play about with your system, it just messes up your edge. And please, you can't do that. All I'm asking you to do is build one system and test it out over 3 months, 6 months if you can. And I know it's hard because you're testing out something for a long period of time. And I'm not saying do demo, you can test out your thing and try do challenges at the same time. Obviously that might harm your psychology and be harder, but for me that's what worked. Obviously don't be spending crazy money and just wasting all your money on challenges, but you test out your system and try do some challenges, small challenges, to see how it works. Then it won't be as bad. But I can't stress enough how important it is to stick to one system. And you will have bad periods and you'll have good periods, and throughout them both you just need to stick to it. Because you can make a system and you're in a bad period and it's just not working for you out. Let's say I create a system today and for the next 2 weeks I'm just losing everything. Majority of people will switch and change it, and it's really hard, especially when you're a beginner trader, because this is your first system you've ever made and your first time trying it, and you're thinking like, I need to make it right, I'm doing it wrong. So people instantly change it. It's really important that whatever you make your system, back test it and then just stick to it, please. Like, I know I keep saying the same thing, but it's so important just to stick to it. I'm not just going to keep saying stick to it. And again, end of it, once you build your system, tested it for 6 months, just keep with it. You just have to keep with it. So I know I've said a lot. I've been talking for 24 minutes. But again, learn the fundamentals. There's no one concept, there's no one system, it's you who makes it happen. And I can make psychology videos because I do think majority of trading is psychology, and sticking to the system is part of psychology. So that's why, I could make more videos on that. And then, again, step 2 would be to apply that and spot the patterns in the markets. I've explained how you do that. So I'll be able to come up on the chart DXY and say, oh, okay, so this is a range, liquidity, this is a gap, we came into it, we swept liquidity, we went high, blah 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 blah. And once you can do that, then you use your knowledge to create a system, and I've already explained that well, and find that repeatable pattern, and then build one system and stick to it, and just stick to it, and please just stick to it. Again, any questions or any points you want me to go into to further detail, just message me and I can. This was just like a summary. I know it's a long video and I spoke a lot, but yeah. So again, I will be making more videos, and yeah, there's not much more I can say. I will try to do 3-4 videos a week, but yeah. So I'll catch you guys in the next video, and peace.